Mr. Johnson, they have my daughter. Federal Judge Harold Morrison stood on Bumpy Johnson's doorstep at 3:47 a.m., the most powerful white man in New York's justice system, the man who'd sent Bumpy to prison twice. Now he was crying, begging, offering everything. And Bumpy Johnson, the king of Harlem, had exactly 24 hours to decide if saving one innocent girl was worth going to war with the NYPD. This is the story of the night Bumpy Johnson proved that some lines you never cross, not even for freedom. November 3, 1955. Harlem, rain hammering the streets. Bumpy's sitting in his apartment above Small's Paradise, counting money from the night's numbers when someone pounds on his door. Not knocking, pounding, desperate. His lieutenant, Quick Lewis, opens it, gun drawn, ready. And there stands Judge Harold Morrison. No bodyguards, no suit jacket, white shirt soaked through, blood on his knuckles from beating on the door, eyes wild with terror. I need to speak with Mr. Johnson. Quick looks at Bumpy. Bumpy nods once. Let him in. Morrison stumbles inside. Doesn't sit. Can't sit. Paces like a caged animal. Words tumbling out. They took her, my daughter, Sarah. She's 16. They took her from our house, left a note, 24 hours. If I don't do what they want, they'll kill her. Bumpy lights a cigarette, slow, deliberate. Who's they? I don't know. What do they want? Morrison pulls out a crumpled piece of paper, hands shaking so bad he can barely hold it. This. Bumpy reads it. His face doesn't change, but his jaw tightens. The note says, drop the Patterson case. Declare mistrial. Do it by tomorrow or your daughter dies. Tell anyone, she dies. Call the police, she dies. You have 24 hours. The Patterson case. Bumpy knows it. Everyone in Harlem knows it. 3 white cops accused of beating a black teenager to death in custody. First time in New York history, cops might actually go to prison for killing a black kid. Morrison's the judge, and someone wants that case buried. You came to me because you can't go to the police, Bumpy says quietly. The note says no police. But more than that, Morrison's voice breaks. I think it is the police. Silence, just rain against the windows. Why? Morrison sits finally, collapses into a chair. The Patterson trial, 3 cops on trial. But it's not just them. If they get convicted, if they talk, it opens up everything. Corruption, evidence planting. Dozens of cases get overturned, millions in settlements, careers destroyed. The whole department has a reason to make this case disappear. And you have proof? I have dead cops walking. I have a daughter who's going to die if I don't do exactly what they want. Morrison looks up, his eyes are red. I can't go to the police. I can't trust anyone in the system. So I came to the one man in New York who has no reason to help me. The man I sent to prison. The man I called a menace to society in my courtroom. Bumpy takes a long drag. And what makes you think I'll help? Because you have a daughter too. The room goes cold. Bumpy's daughter, Ruthie, is 17, 1 year older than Sarah Morrison, and every man in that room knows Bumpy would burn New York to the ground for her. What are you offering? Bumpy asks. Anything, everything. I have money, I have property, I have your freedom. Morrison stops, stares. You're offering me freedom, Bumpy says. You get your daughter back, you make my cases disappear, all of them, every warrant, every pending charge, every surveillance order, gone. Morrison nods slowly. Yes, if you bring her back alive, I'll do it. I'll use every connection I have, you'll walk free. Bumpy stands, walks to the window, looks out at Harlem, his kingdom, the place he's protected for 30 years. The place that's made him and broken him and made him again. I don't want your deal. Morrison's face goes white. What? What? I said no. Bumpy turns around. You think I'm doing this for freedom? You think I'm trading one girl's life for my convenience? He points at Morrison. Your daughter's 16 years old, scared, probably praying right now that someone, anyone, will save her. And you want to make this a business transaction? Mr. Johnson, I didn't mean, I'll find your daughter, I'll bring her home, and you owe me nothing. Bumpy's voice is ice. Because that's the difference between men like you and men like me. You see a deal, I see a child who needs help. He calls over Quick Lewis. Get Junie Bird, Willie Fish, and Moses. Tell them we work until dawn. Tell them we're going to war with the NYPD, and tell them why. Quick grins. How much we getting paid for this? Not a damn thing, we're doing it because it's right. The next 23 hours become legend in Harlem. Bumpy starts with what he knows. The Patterson case. 3 cops on trial, Officer Dennis McCormick, Officer Paul Delano, Officer Frank Russo. But the case threatens more than just them. It threatens Captain Eugene Walsh, the precinct commander who covered it up. It threatens Detective Martin Keyes, who planted evidence. It threatens the whole structure. Bumpy makes a list. Every cop who has something to lose if the trial continues. 7 names. One of them took Sarah Morrison. 4:30 a.m. Bumpy and his crew hit the first location. Officer McCormick's apartment in Queens. They don't break in, they watch. Bumpy's been doing this for 30 years. You don't rush, you watch, you learn. McCormick comes home at 5:15 a.m. Drunk, alone, stumbling. He's not hiding a hostage, he's barely hiding his drinking problem. Cross him off the list. 6 a.m. Officer Delano. Lives in Brooklyn with his wife and 3 kids. Bumpy sits outside watching the house. Kitchen light comes on. Wife making breakfast. Kids getting ready for school. Normal, too normal. No stress, no fear, no secret. Cross him off. 7:30 a.m. Captain Eugene Walsh. Big house in Westchester. Gated property. This takes longer. Bumpy can't just walk up and knock. So he waits. Watches. At 8 a.m., Walsh leaves for work. Bumpy sees something. Walsh is calm, relaxed, whistling. A man with a kidnapped girl in his house doesn't whistle. Cross him off. By noon, Bumpy's down to 4 names, and he's running out of time. 12 hours left. He changes tactics, stops looking for where Sarah is, starts looking for who's scared. Bumpy makes phone calls, uses every contact, every informant, every cop on his payroll. He's not asking about kidnapping, he's asking about behavior. Who's acting strange? Who called in sick today? Who's avoiding the precinct? 3 names come back, same name from different sources. Detective Martin Keyes. Called in sick Tuesday morning. Hasn't been seen. Phone goes to voicemail. Wife says he's out of town on business. But Martin Keyes doesn't take business trips. Martin Keyes is a creature of habit. Home every night at 6. Drinks at O'Malley's bar every Thursday. Church every Sunday. Except this week. One prey finds Keyes' car, parked behind an abandoned warehouse in Red Hook, Brooklyn. Far from home, far from anywhere Keyes has reason to be. Bumpy doesn't bring his whole crew, just Quick Lewis and Junie Bird, 3 men, quiet, smart. They approach the warehouse carefully. It's old. Shipping company went under in 1948. Windows broken, door chain shut. But the chain is new, fresh rust on old metal. Someone's been here recently. They don't kick in the door. They wait, watch. At 2:30 p.m., a man arrives. Not Keyes, someone else. Young, nervous, carrying bags from a deli, food, water, supplies. He opens the chain, goes inside. Bumpy follows. The young cop doesn't see them until it's too late. Quick has a gun in his face before he can scream. Where's the girl? I don't know what. Bumpy puts a hand on the kid's shoulder, gentle, almost kind. Son, you're in way over your head. You're a beat cop making $80 a week. Somebody promised you money to help with this. But here's what they didn't tell you. When this goes bad, and it will go bad, they'll put it all on you. You'll take the fall. You'll go to prison. They'll walk free. The kid's sweating, eyes darting. Key said it was just for a day. Just scare the judge. Nobody gets hurt. Where is she? Upstairs, 2nd floor, back room. Keyes is with her. He's got a gun. Bumpy looks at Quick. Stay with him. Make sure he doesn't make noise. What if he tries? Make him quiet permanently if necessary. Bumpy and Junie move through the warehouse. Old boxes, broken equipment, dust so thick their footsteps leave prints. Stairs in the corner, wood rotted through in places, each step creaks. 2nd floor, hallway, 4 doors, 3 open, 1 closed. Bumpy approaches the closed door, listens, hears nothing, no crying, no talking, just silence. He tries the handle, locked. Then a voice from inside. Who's there? Detective Keyes, my name is Bumpy Johnson. I'm here to take Sarah Morrison home. Silence, then movement, fast, panicked. You come through that door, I'll kill her. Bumpy doesn't hesitate. No, you won't. I will. I'll put a bullet in her head right now. Then you'd have done it already. Bumpy's voice is calm, too calm. You've had her for 18 hours. If you wanted her dead, she'd be dead. But she's alive, which means you're not a killer. You're a scared cop who made a bad choice. Stay back! I'm not coming in, not yet. But let me tell you what's happening right now. Your partner downstairs already gave you up. Quick Lewis has a gun on him. In about 30 seconds he's going to start screaming. And when he screams, every person in 3 blocks will hear it. Police will come. Real police. The kind that will ask questions about why a detective has a missing girl locked in an abandoned warehouse. I'm a cop. They'll believe me. Over me? Maybe. Over Judge Morrison? Over the FBI agents who are probably already looking for his daughter? Over every reporter in New York who's about to hear this story? Bumpy leans close to the door. You think you're saving your career? You're ending it. Open the door now, let the girl go, and maybe you survive this. Maybe. Silence. Long, heavy. Then the lock clicks. The door opens. Sarah Morrison sits in the corner, hands bound, mouth gagged, eyes wide with terror, but alive, breathing, unharmed. Detective Keyes stands in the middle of the room, gun in his hand, not pointed at Sarah, pointed at the floor. He looks like he hasn't slept, like he's been in hell for 18 hours. And maybe he has. I didn't want to hurt her, Keyes says, voice breaking. I just needed Morrison to drop the case, just needed him to give me the gun. I can't go to prison. I have 2 kids. I have a mortgage. You have 2 choices. Give me the gun, or I take it from you. One way, you walk out. The other way, they carry you out. Keyes looks at the gun, looks at Sarah, looks at Bumpy. He hands over the gun. Bumpy takes it, empties the chamber, pockets the bullets. Then he does something nobody expects. He gives the gun back. What? You're going to need this, Bumpy says, because when this story comes out, when the department finds out you kidnapped a federal judge's daughter, they're going to come for you. And you're going to need protection, not from me, from them. Bumpy walks to Sarah, kneels down, unties her hands, removes the gag. She's shaking, crying. You're safe now. Your father sent me. We're going home. Farrington. Exactly 24 hours after Judge Morrison knocked on Bumpy's door, they pull up to the Morrison house in Westchester. Big, white, perfect lawn. The kind of house Bumpy will never own. The kind of house that's always been closed to men who look like him. Judge Morrison runs out before the car even stops, pulls Sarah into his arms, sobbing. She's sobbing. They hold each other like the world almost ended. Because it did. Morrison looks at Bumpy. No words. What do you say to a man who saved your daughter's life? A man you tried to destroy in court. A man you called a criminal and a menace and a blight on society. Thank you isn't enough. I'm sorry isn't enough. Nothing is enough. But Morrison tries anyway. The deal, I'll start the paperwork tomorrow. Every case, every charge, you'll be free. Bumpy shakes his head. I told you, no deal. Mr. Johnson, I owe you. You owe me nothing. I didn't do this for freedom. I did it because your daughter deserved to come home. And because some things you don't trade. Not for money, not for power, not for freedom. He turns to leave. Stops, looks back. But you do owe someone something. You owe the Patterson family justice. Those 3 cops killed a kid. You were going to declare a mistrial and let them walk. Don't. Morrison stares. You want me to finish the trial? I want you to do your job, the right way. Not because someone has leverage, not because someone's threatening you. Because it's right. They'll come after me again. After my family. No, they won't. Bumpy's voice goes cold. Because I'm going to make sure everyone in the NYPD knows what happened today. I'm going to make sure they know that if anything happens to you or your family, I'll burn their careers, their lives, and their families to the ground. You have my protection now, whether you want it or not. 3 days later, the Patterson trial concludes. All 3 officers convicted, 15 years each. First conviction of white police officers for killing a black suspect in New York history. Judge Morrison's career continues. His daughter goes to college, gets married, becomes a teacher. And Bumpy Johnson never speaks about that night, never tells the story, never asks for credit. But Harlem knows. The streets always know. And years later, when Bumpy gets arrested again, when he's facing serious time, guess who shows up at his bail hearing? Judge Harold Morrison. Bail set at personal recognizance. Mr. Johnson, you're free to go. No explanation, no precedent. Just a judge repaying a debt that can never truly be repaid. That's the story they don't tell you about Bumpy Johnson. The night he went to war with the NYPD for a white judge's daughter. For no money, no deal, no freedom, just because it was right. Look, if this story showed you a different side of Bumpy Johnson, hit that like button. Subscribe for more untold stories because we've got plenty more coming. Drop a comment. Would you have taken the deal? Would you have risked everything for nothing? Hit that notification bell because next week we're telling the story of how Bumpy walked into a police precinct unarmed and walked out alive. Remember, the most dangerous man isn't the one with the most guns, it's the one with the most principles.